Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha
Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 26, Fundamental Principles of Material Nature, text 1. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Ata Te Sambhrakshami Tatvanam Lakshanam Prithak Yad Viditva Vimuchita Purusha Prakriter Gunai Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Ate Te Samprakshami Tatvanam Lakshanam Pritak Yad Vitva Vumichita Purusha Prakriter Gunai Shri Bhagavad Uvacha Atate Samprakshami Tatvanam Lakshanam Pritak Yad Vitva Vimuchita Purusha Prakriter Gunai Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Atate
Sampravakshami Tatvanam Satyanam Pritak Yad Viditva Vimucheta Purusha Prakriter Gunai Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Atate Prabhakshami
Atate Prasavrakshami Tatvanam Krishnam Pritak Yadvidita Vimucheta Purusha Prakrita Gunai
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Atate Sampravakshami
Atate Sampravakshami
Tatvanam Lakshanam Pratak
Tatvanam Lakshanam Pratak
Yadviditva vimuchyeta
Yadvidva vimuchyeta
Purusha prakritar gunai.
Purusha prakritargunai. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Shri Bhagavan Vacha. Patate samprakshyami
Patate samprakshami
Tattvanam lakshanam pritak
Tattvanam lakshanam pritak
Yadviditva vimuchyeta
Yadvidva vimuchyeta
Purusha prakritar gunai.
Purusha prakritar gunai.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Tate samprakshyami
Patate samprakshami
Tattvanam lakshanam pritak
Tattvanam lakshanam pritak
Yadviditva vimuchyeta
Yadvidva vimuchyeta
Purusha prakritar gunai.
Purusha prakritar gunai.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Atate Sampravakshami
Patate samprakshami
Tattvanam Lakshanam Pritak
Tattvanam lakshanam pritak
Yadviditva Vimuchyeta
Yadvidva vimuchyeta
Purusha Prakritar Gunai.
Purusha prakritar gunai.
Shri Bhagwan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Tathate Sampravakshami
Patate samprakshami
Tattvanam Lakshanam Pritak
Tattvanam lakshanam pritak
Yat Viditva Vimuchyeta
Yadvidva vimuchyeta
Purusha Prakritir Gunai.
Purusha prakritir gunai.
Online chant.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Bhagavan Vacha.
Atate Sampravakshyami
Atate samprakshyami
Tattvanam Lakshanam Prithaka
Tattvanam lakshanam pritak
Yadviditva Vimuchyeta
Yadviditva vimuchyeta
Purusha Prakritair Gunaihi.
Purusha prakritargunai.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Athate Sampravakshami
Atate samprakshyami
Tattvanam Lakshanam Prithak
Tattvanam lakshanam pritak
Yadviditva Vimuchyeta
Yadviditva vimuchyeta
Purusha Prakritar Gunai.
Purusha prakritargunai.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Athame Sampravakshyami
Atate samprakshyami
Tattvanam Lakshanam Pritak
Tattvanam lakshanam pritak
Yadviditva Vimuchyeta
Yadviditva vimuchyeta
Purusha Prakritair Gunai.
Purusha prakritargunai.
Shri Bhagavan Shri Bhagavan Uvacha
Shri Bhagavan Vacha
Atate Sampravakshyami
Atate samprakshyami
Tattvanam Lakshanam Pritak
Tattvanam lakshanam pritak
Yadviditva Yim Yuyeta
Yadviditva vimuchyeta
Purusha Prakritir Gunaha.
Purusha prakritargunai. So that's everyone. Okay, we'll chant word by word saying Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Shri Bhagavan Vacha.
Personality of Godhead said.
The The personality of God had said,
Ata,
Ata,
now,
now,
te, to you, Sambhavakshami,
Sampravakshyami,
I shall
I
describe
shall describe
Tattvanam
Tattvanam
of the categories of the Absolute Truth.
of the categories of the Absolute Truth.
Lakshanam,
Lakshanam,
the distinctive features.
the distinctive features.
Pritak,
Pritak,
one by one.
one by one.
Ya,
which Vitva, knowing, Vimucheta, one can be released. Purusha, any person. Prakritai, of the material nature. Gunai, from the modes. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Personality of Godhead, Kapila continued. My dear mother, now I shall describe unto you the different categories of the Absolute Truth, knowing which any person can be released from the influence of the modes of material nature. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, only through devotional service. Bhakti Mama Abhijanati. As stated in the Bhagavatam, the object of devotional service is Mam, Krishna. And as stated in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, to understand Krishna means to understand Krishna in his personal form, with his internal energy, his external energy, his expansions, and his incarnations. There are many diverse departments of knowledge and understanding in Krishna. Sankhya philosophy is especially meant for persons who are conditioned by this material world. It is generally understood by the Parampara system or by disciplic succession to be the science of devotional service. Preliminary studies of devotional service have already been explained. Now the analytical study of devotional service will be explained by the Lord, who says that by such an analytical study, one becomes freed from the modes of material nature. The same assertion is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, Tato Mam Tattva Gyatva. By understanding the Lord according to various categories, one can become eligible to enter into the kingdom of God. This is also explained here. By understanding the science of devotional service is Sankhya philosophy, one can become free from the modes of material nature. The eternal self, after becoming freed from the spell of material nature, becomes eligible to enter in the kingdom of God. As long as one has even a slight desire to enjoy or lord it over material nature, there is no chance of his being freed from the influence of nature's material modes. Therefore, one has to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead analytically, as explained in the Sankhya system of philosophy by Lord Kapila. So it's real nice. There's some verses, there's some lectures on these verses by Srila Prabhupada on the Prabhupada Vani. And so Prabhupada was saying there's basically 6 sources of knowledge. Right, and let's see, one of them is at Hoksaja. So what he was saying is that there's the way to receive knowledge. One way to receive knowledge is through the senses, through the sensual perception. Another way to receive knowledge is through superior authority, or through the Parampara system, right? And then he said another way of understanding is at Hoksaja. And this simply means, and then he mentioned, Prabhupada mentioned something, that's like the name of the Supreme Personality of God, at Hoksaja, inconceivable, right? At Hoksaja, imperceivable to the senses, is at Hoksaja. So this type of knowledge at Hoksaja means that type of knowledge which is beyond the scope of the range of our understanding. So there's I believe there are 6 types of knowledge. I looked it up because they have the transcriptions, but I was figuring that's good enough if I could just remember these first 3 on that. And so yeah, there's different types of jnana, which is samba jnana, sambhadeya jnana. Prabhupada was mentioned a lot of different types of jnana, and so what he's actually saying is that basically the spiritual soul being Anandamaya, being part and parcel of Krishna, is pleasure seeking. And so being in contact with the material energy, we become conditioned by the three modes of material nature. As we read these verses further, Lord Kapila Dev, he mentions how the material nature, Prakriti or Maya, is creating practically almost an unlimited varieties of different types of species, different types of situations, circumstances, species, according to the three modes of material nature. And so they're probably completely, almost endless. So we're talking about like living entities everywhere, practically almost unlimited entities, living entities. And so you have like the living entities that are embodied in the material world, and they are under the jurisdiction of the three modes of material nature, which is designating so many different types of varieties of species of the bodies, and the nature according to that specific body, according to one's karma, and it's guna, it's modes of nature, karma, and guna, and desire. So the living entity has been in the material world since time immemorial for a very, very, very long time. And so Prabhu was saying, just as a fish is out of water, the fish will eventually die. That's not his actual real habitat. And so unless the fish finds its way back into the water and there's natural habitat, the fish is actually simply going to die. So Prabhupada was actually comparing this also to the living entity being in the material world. It's like the fish out of water. We're not in our actual real position. We're eternal, but yet we have to accept the sufferings of the material body as birth, death, disease, and old age, and must engage in eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So, and Prabhupada said there's no way getting around that. The specific senses require certain things. We require food, eatables. Prabhupada said we require sex. So these things are to be curbed. What's also Kapila Dev's also got to be explaining is the process of the mystic Sangha philosophy of yoga. As that, and I mentioned this lots of times before, the yamas, the niyamas and the yamas, dharana, dhyana, there's dhyana, there's still something else, I can't remember what it is, and then samadhi. So it's remembrance, absorption, and then I think, samadhi is complete absorption. So it's remembrance. And so they were comparing this to the specific process of devotional service, where we're following the 4 rules and regulative principles: no illicit sex, no eating, no intoxication, no gambling. So these correspond with the no intoxication is our practicing austerity. And so these are principles, Brahminical principles and principles of saintliness that Krishna also explains in Bhagavad Gita. Austerity, simplicity, cleanliness. So no illicit sex is cleanliness. And no gambling. This corresponds with truthfulness. And non-violence, ahimsa, is not killing the living entities for the flesh. So it's meat eating. No meat eating. Prabhupada was saying, we do not say no eating, but we say no meat eating. Prabhupada was saying, as you see in our Krishna Prasadam, we have so many nice fruits and vegetables and milk products, and everything's combined in such a way. We have nice grains, and we produce practically an unlimited variety of dishes and tastes and flavors for the pleasure of the Supreme Lord. He says, as you see in our Prasadam. And Prabhupada said that when you offer your prasadam, Krishna doesn't take it away. He says, as you see, here's the prasadam, and the prasadam is here for you to enjoy, but offer it to the Supreme Lord first with love and devotion. Right. So he said, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we should offer the best thing, the choice thing. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna was saying, pushpam phalam toyam. So if one offers me a leaf, fruit, flower, water, I will accept it. So Prabhupada is saying, so this is for the simple. Even the poorest man can offer a little water, a leaf, a fruit, a vegetable. So why not present to Krishna the nicest thing, the nicest, choicest thing with love and devotion. But if it's a really, really nice thing, and if it's not with love or devotion, then that's not exactly wanted. Right? Krishna, Prabhupada was saying, Krishna wants your love and devotion. So let's see if I can think of what else I was explaining. Let's see. So we got something to look forward to. By following this process, we can be free from the material modes of nature, which is probably no real easy thing to do in the material world. We probably couldn't even mentally speculate that we need to be free from goodness, passion, and ignorance. Right? It's really pretty poetic, really. The way serenity, knowledge, and bliss, Satchidananda, right? The three modes of material nature, the goodness, passion, and ignorance, right? And then I was thinking, if I probably couldn't think of these things up if I had to create a material universe or something, hellish planets, heavenly planets, and the earth planets. And Maharaj was mentioning that the demigods and the heavenly planets, they're enjoying in a specific way uncontrolled sense gratification, as it may appear to be on a very, very high level, but they're not acquiring sinful karmic reactions, adverse reactions to their sense gratification like the human beings are responsible for. So the human beings on this planet, there are hellish reactions that are explained in the fifth canon of Srimad Bhagavatam for the unrestricted sense gratification. So everything's done properly according to the Varnashram Dharma, or according to God consciousness, and not just on the animal propensities of eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So that's why actually the human society now is actually lower than the animal species, because the animal species, they don't kill their young, or like we're doing now, if it's not convenient. So there's birth control pills or abortion and contraceptives. So it's a technological advancement for increasing your sinful activities, preparing your citizens for becoming animals, going to the lower species in the next life. And let's see, so Prabhupada was talking about how another form of the Lord is Mahavishnu. So Mahavishnu, he's the first incarnation in the in the Lord's Leela of creation. And in the overview to these chapters, I was listening to, he mentioned that even just here in the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there's at least 4 descriptions of creation that referred again ever since the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So I've heard about creation quite a few times, and I mentioned it was according to specific perspectives, where he said it was according to the specific arrangement or the specific details that were being discussed, right? Is that we were just studying creation according to that view. Jai Gaura Nitai Ki Jai. So the 3 Purushas, Mahavishnu, Garbhodakshaya Vishnu, Ksharadakshaya Vishnu, are for the creation, maintenance, and arrangement of the material world. And then Prabhupada was saying, then there's generally there's 3 demigods. Vishnu is not a demigod. It's actually an offense to consider the holy name of Vishnu to be equal to or independent of, or the names of demigods be equal to or independent of the holy name of Vishnu. But basically, there's Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. So Brahma, he's stating he's a partial incarnation of the Lord as a demigod and mode of goodness, and under Krishna's direction and supervision, creates the material energies and begins the procreation of the material world with the help of the demigods. And then Lord Vishnu maintains the universe during its duration. So Vishnu existed before the creation of Mahatattva, will continue to maintain the universe and continue to exist after the destruction of the universe. And this is a cycle that repeatedly goes on eternally. And then, let's see, it was just on tip of my tongue what I was thinking about that. Let's see, I'll probably come back to that again. Any questions or comments while I kind of think about that? Or, yeah, a question or comment?
So thank you, Prabhu. I really liked how a few things, you equated the principles of saintliness or the Brahminical qualities or the divine qualities that Krishna talks about in Bhagavad Gita, that those actually refer directly to the positive side of the regulative principles, which is really amazing. And cleanliness, austerity, truthfulness, and so forth. Then I really liked also how you said that we're increasing in society, we're increasing technological advancement, so-called advancement, to increase our sinful activities and send everyone to hell. And and then I had a thought, which was that in the verse it says that anybody, like you mentioned, that we have a great hope, we have something to look forward to. We can become free from the modes by just studying this book, Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada in the translation says, knowing which any person can be released. And this morning in the Leelamrita, Prabhupada was making a point to the reporter, Mr. Koshi, and he was saying, anybody can join us. This is not for a particular group or a particular Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Mohammedan, so on and so forth. He said, this is the real United Nations. And what it is, it means we have to hear and we have to apply it. And we just keep trying to hear and apply. And Krishna will help us. And everybody can get the opportunity as long as we give it to them. And that's why this Bhagavatam is so amazing to distribute and to share. So those are my comments.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, those are nice comments. So, there's another thing that where Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Sarveshaham Veda Krit, said, by all the Vedas, I'm to be known. So basically, Prabhupada gave pretty much a catalog of the Vedic literatures. There's 108 Upanishads, right? There's Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, right? There was the Ihashas, right? Yeah, the Ihashas, Itihashas, yeah, and Puranas. So and then Prabhupada said, and then finally you get to Vedanta Sutra. It's not so much as I don't know what the Vedas. The Vedas, from what I understand, it points to devotional service, but it goes about apparently explaining the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his nirguna qualities, right? Whereas both nirguna and saguna, so he's without qualities. So Prabhupada was saying, "Oh my Lord, you have no head." He's saying, basically, you're saying you're deaf, dumb, and lame and blind. You have no eyes, you can't see, you have no legs, you can't walk, no arms, you can't work. So he said the Mayavadis, they meditate and they pray like this, they have specific verses like this. So because he's an impersonal form, but Prabhupada was saying Bhagavad Gita, that the impersonalists, they have to learn the non-perceptible feelings, right? Is trying to understand, what is Brahman, how everything is one. Oh yeah, that's what the person who reads the narrations at the beginning of the chapters and gives the explanation of the overviews on SrimadBhagavatamClass.com. He said that let's see now if I can remember that again. That was just on super much time. Oh yeah. I was just thinking about that just on super time. So what did I just now say like a minute ago? I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so that's what he was saying, is that perhaps this specific form of the Lord in his impersonal form, which Maharaj mentioned, Krishna says this. He says that Krishna has a specific form of unmanifestation. So there's the pradhan, where the material energy winds up again from the most grossest to the most subtle elements, and it goes into a dormant state within Brahman, or pradhan, right, as unmanifested dormant state in Krishna's unmanifested form. So he was saying perhaps the nihilistic, voidist Buddhist destination is actually the pradhan, right, where it's a dormant state of unmanifestation within Krishna's unmanifested form. Yeah, so he did say the word perhaps, right? So we know about that, what Prabhupada says about scientists and mental speculators, if they say perhaps, maybe, so whether we know or we don't know, but but someone who's, I think he's actually one of the editors, whoever reads the narrations and explains each chapter. So I've been listening to those overviews and the narrations, and he clearly pretty much explains a few things, and he points out some pretty good details in Prabhupada's purports. So they're pretty good to listen to. So is there any other questions or comments, or do we want to end class promptly today, or? All right. Yeah. So I guess the next few verses, what we're going to read about is the specific processes by which to become free from the influence of material nature. So there's knowledge, knowledge of self-realization, the qualities of the Supreme Soul. Okay. So maybe we can end class there then. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam class ki jai.